know what that was.
I'm gonna take the kids home, okay?
Okay, yeah, my truck's up on Main Street, so.
Okay. All right, everybody in. Let's go. Okay. Straight home. Lee.
All right? Yeah, good. Your brother say anything going on at the base?
Not that I know of. Just call. Let me call him back.
All right, yeah, let me know. Ronnie, what we got?
We got units headed out there now, EMS and fire.
Whereabouts?
I think out by Walker's farm.
And cut. Now you want to see my genuine reaction to this? Bop. There it is. Right there. So this is the list of changes, the summary of changes that they released, and this is what I think is actually interesting about it. Now give me a second here as I just, there you go. Now you have something to watch while you listen to me talk. Anyways, that's enough goofing around. Let's talk about these changes here. So the first one, immune to the D-gun. I like this one. I think that means that you're no longer able to trade your commander out with just a single click of a button. It kind of noob-proofs commander trading. You really have to commit to getting into a fight. And even then, it's not guaranteed that you're going to get that commander snipe. So it's it really goes hand in hand with the Rec Metal one, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. I think that's a good change. I think that's definitely going to change the meta quite a bit. It's going to make commanders a lot less threatening to other commanders. So when those meet on the front lines, it's going to be more important that you have units as opposed to just having a commander on the field. The next one down, increase HP. I don't like this one. I don't think 650 extra HP is really going to be the world of difference between winning and losing a commander on the front line as far as units go. However, this does go hand in hand with the change to the death explosions, and I think that's probably why that was done. I think it said so in the notes. I'll have a link now to this actual whole thing so you can read the lengthy explanation, because I know a lot of you are going to be interested in that. Increasing the HP by 650 is definitely going to make it it'll make it less viable to comb-bomb another commander, but also jumping on top of them. I guess you're going to have to bring a few more units, like 2 more units. If you're really pushing a commander, you're planning to overkill it by probably quite a lot. So I think that there's some interesting dynamics there, but I think the main thing is the next point. Death explosions do less damage. This affects both the way that commanders kill things around them when they die, but also how commanders interact when they die next to each other. So to give you the spark notes on this, again, the more details about this are given in the full article. Go read that after you finish watching this, but the death explosions do less damage. So the way it used to work is that within the explosion radius, basically everything took 5,000 damage, and then it exponentially curved off outside of that area. So it was a super steep drop-off. Now what you have is a linear drop-off from the point where the commander dies all the way down to the edge of the explosion. So if you're standing further away from the commander, the explosion does less damage. If you're standing right next to it, it'll do full damage. So this is not they changed the way that the commanders survive each other exploding. It's more a factor of the way that they changed the explosion happening. So when the explosion happens, your commander is less likely to die because it'll still be pretty far away from the commander. And presumably, if you have high enough health, it won't die. Although I imagine if you're getting your commander into a bunch of fights, it'll probably be low enough to still take quite a lot of damage anyway. I don't know, I'll have to play around with that and see how I feel. This is just my first reaction. Anyway, removed passive HP regeneration during combat. This one I wasn't so stoked about. Not because I think it's game-breaking or anything, but I think it's just a non-factor. Like, I think the commander HP regeneration was so little that, again, if you're going to go kill a commander, you're probably planning to overkill it by quite a bit. So I don't think that HP regeneration factor really played too big of a role. I can understand why they did it. It's to make you think a little bit harder when you're pushing with your commander and getting it stuck in fights, and if you want to pull it back, you're going to pull it back. But I think when I'm making the decision to move my commander forward or pull my commander back, it's not usually based on the commander's health. It's mostly based on whether I need the commander at the front or not. And it seems like I'm still going to need the commander at the front, and so that HP regeneration is just going to mean that it dies a whole lot sooner. Coinciding with that, they reduced the wreck metal from 2,000 to 1,250. This is definitely going to be the biggest impact, in my humble opinion. Reducing the wreckage metal. That's kind of interesting because it means that, well, for one, the whole tech meta revolves around sacrificing your commander and using the metal to tech up to T2. That means that we're going to have to adjust those builds to be more metal efficient, more metal conservative, make sure that we're building energy converters, make sure that we're taking all the metal extractors, all that sort of lovely stuff if we ever want to actually tech up efficiently. I think it's going to slow down the late game, and especially that mid game, right, when you're stepping into T2. So I think this will be interesting, but it does, they mentioned in the notes, and I do agree, that it's interesting that this will mean that losing your commander is not overall going to be as punishing as it used to be. It used to be when commanders went down. First of all, when a commander went down, it was most likely because another commander killed it, which meant that it was not one commander, but two commanders that went down wherever that commander died at. So it meant that that was now a 4,000 metal spot that was absolutely necessary, that everybody turn their head, look at that spot, say, hey, we need to control that, and jump on top of it. And I think that was good. I think that was interesting. It made it so that everyone had to work together, right? It provided an environment where teamwork was necessary for victory. This means that that's going to be less potent, and also because of the other changes, it'll be less likely that one commander kills another. So I think what this means is that commanders overall are less valuable, which is sort of in line with what they were planning on doing. But I think that it is going to be interesting. We'll have to get used to that, because I think I'm definitely in the mindset that my commander is very valuable, but also its value is not its place on the front of the battlefield. It's its 2,000 metal that's lying in its corpse that I want to reclaim or keep alive for its D-gun at some point. And the final one is no longer susceptible to special damage modifiers. I could take this one or leave this one. Personally, I didn't ever find that really too big of a thing. It just meant that you couldn't push into more than like 2 light laser turrets. If they had 3 up, then your commander would get so badly damaged that it was really dangerous. Now you're just going to be able to push light laser turrets a whole lot easier. So I think it's going to mean that the sort of light laser turret spam meta on the front lines is going to be a little bit different, because commanders can just walk into each other and destroy those turrets. But it is interesting, I suppose, although I think with the commanders becoming more tanky, it just means that light laser turrets are going to be less valuable than units, which is a change that I can support. So again, there's pros and cons to this, but I'll just have to play with it and see what I think. Anyways, that's all my thoughts on this. I'll have more videos, and I'll be talking about this in other videos, but I wanted to get my initial thoughts out there, some sort of reaction for you guys to take a look at. So, yeah, that's all. Peace.